host position in the center. We're beautifully done.
Yo guys, no bet winner, no entry.
Okay, Mr. Bet winner.
Sports fans out there, are you ready? It's a beautiful evening and welcome to tonight's game. The lady shows up and she's been denied. Oh no. But wait, she's back with Bet winner. Wait. Oh, what a beautiful pass. And it's a
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below 18 years, and gaming can be addictive.
Everybody check now. Check it. Fa check it. Fa check it. Check it. The beat is real. Don't wait, make it kill ya. Get your green select glucometer and check it. Sugar level, check it, check it. Fa check it, check it. Fa check it, fa check it, check it, check it. Green select glucometer. Fa check it, fa check it, check it, check it. Push sugar level, fa check it, fa check it, check it, check it. Fa check it, fa check it, check it, check it. Green select glucometer. Everybody check now.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Before, let me ask Kojo, Kojo, are you very okay for not getting nominations as I started Jumanekra? Because among us, I artists,
Oh yeah, I'm very.
Yeah, there's some quants for.
I'm very okay because yes, people. My song that is Be Kind, my commercial song. It doesn't fall under the year of review.
Okay.
Because that was released this year.
Okay.
But last year, the unprecedented Atina Dunko verse that I wrote, yes, people were expecting it to be considered because.
Considered
in
as
which
what?
country? In which country?
New on Sun.
You or the best?
Me.
Oh, brother.
What is that? What? It's not a song.
Brother.
I say you are an artist.
Oh, but I sang.
This one is a
Hello, Tomas.
No, every time no can you
Was it not a song?
It wasn't a song.
It was what?
It was a freestyle. You said a freestyle. It wasn't,
No, but what is the
recorded.
difference?
Was it recorded?
No, it wasn't recorded.
So it's not a song.
Really?
You picked your phone.
It was what?
And
it
you
was
went
only
on
on the
TikTok.
phone. Yeah.
And it was a duet challenge.
Yeah.
And you did your verse.
No, it wasn't a duet challenge per se.
You a verse, open verse.
Yes.
Open verse.
And you did an open
Yes.
verse challenge.
Yes.
On a beat.
Oh, brother.
What is recording?
No, it should be an official record. Official record.
Yes.
No. But me can education. What Eric Tosca is asking is say, who should that co studio echo recording as a nyum?
No. No, but what they are saying is it for a fact? Is it in their category that you have to go to a studio and go and record a song? What do you think? Why do you think it's not a song? It is on record. Can't you play it? It's on a record.
No, you can't.
You can't.
What are you telling me you can't?
It's not a song.
It was played on radio and all of that. You say you can't.
Well, it was played on radio.
It was played on. What are you talking about? These ones you are giving, we are all assuming. Take your time. We are all assuming. I even have the audio.
We are not assuming.
I even have the audio. The point is, are you telling me they only regard a record as one that you have gone to studio and you have done it?
Because ultimately, with the phone IBB, it's a record. They should dominate it. No, Emfa.
But the point is how the thing was done. Okay, it was an open.
The way you explained that, you are not happy.
No. I'm very okay.
No, because now you are trying to make the case.
Yes, you said we are educating people, and we don't want to say things that maybe probably there are other information that's why we have to all put it in the right perspective. Okay. The point is, it is an open challenge, and how open challenges are done. It was done on social media. Yeah. So there is the beat there, then you put your voice on it. Once that process also you can record on it, it is acceptable because if you talk about playing the song, you can play it. I heard it on many radio stations. I even have the audio. I've pulled the audio that wherever you play it, it is up there. If that is it, that okay, they didn't regard it as an artist, and that I think they wouldn't regard me as an artist then. So it is fair enough.
But now,
of course, but now, even now, I'm even looking for better categories than.
Not unsung.
No. Now, my pound.
So, Oscar, on to the Betty, could you
my
point
pound song.
Oh, I don't agree with him. And on one say it was an open verse.
Yeah.
He did it, he picked his phone, did a freestyle on it. And you got taken to the next level. And now, almost started act picking interest no cool studio. Echo record there. And we release where it a very good case. Or releasing the free download poor media transfer and Ghana and be a very good case. Because we're taking to the next level. And or record there. But we are artists we almost be
Akobara. What do you Akobara?
Many film now.
What viral? You didn't go viral.
Okay.
Who will be Akobara?
So that was just by the by. It's Kojono Usu. Just that he's still trying to make a case as to why he was not nominated. That's fine. The first angle among the VGA discussions now at this stage, if my producer has Robert Clark on the line, me pese yene Robert Clark edidin komobina or cheche in Simbi because yatese as it stands now, say on sem efa Vodafone Ghana Music Awards 1. Ubetimi aba na ya boa na ya keka nyina ama enti no momanimra na yemisa nesem. And I would even want to read a story from nydj.com where it says that Charterhouse announces a 1-week provisional window for dispute resolution on 2023 VGMA nominations. Now listen to this. Charterhouse announces a 1-week provisional window for dispute resolution on 2023 VGMA nominations. And now the story reads, Charterhouse, organizers of the prestigious Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, have announced a major introduction to its scheme ahead of this year's event. Unlike many awards, organizers of the VGMA have introduced a 1-week window which allows the general public to contest information sent out to the organizers for consideration in this year's awards. In a conversation with Sika Osei and monitored by Ghana's Hub for Pop Culture and Urban Entertainment News, nydjlive.com, the head of public events and communications at Charterhouse, Robert Clark, announced the new significant move, saying, "One of the first things we are immediately introducing is the 1-week provisional period." He continued, saying, "After this announcement goes out, we have 1-week window where we are opening up for the public. So what this means is, if there is anybody contesting any information, if there is any information that has been submitted to the VGMA is inaccurate, we are open to receiving information from the public to be able to address that, because individuals make submissions and sometimes you get incorrect information. After this period, everything as announced stays as they are." Now he also spoke on NYDJ's show, that is Rise and Shine, on YFM in Kumasi, where he said that the 1-week provisional window is for correction and provision. By correction, I mean the removal or inclusion or any type of information that might not be accurate as a result of the mechanisms in soliciting for information from different sources, he said. He also revealed individuals could submit their consent via the official emails or contact available on the award scheme's website. And that is what the head of communications, Mr. Robert Clark, is telling us. Now, Mamiko Eric Tosca, because he has been researching for so many award schemes in Ghana, Mamiko Bisane said, "Sir, window for dispute resolution, what are the good and bad here?" Yenshe Nina, that general view. Say, ye be able dispute for or window for dispute resolution. Ne papa woman, ne bonny woman is saying.
Okay, so I think the positives, you will learn. The scheme will learn. They will know because they are taking opinions from people, from artists and stakeholders. Or who matters. They will learn. They will know what's something new that they can add to the next year. And then they rectify their mistakes.
Okay, we have Robert Clark. And Kasana, more information, then I'm sure that if you want to do the reviews, na Timi Abwa, no Timi Akomuye. Rob, good evening. Check my monitors and open up for me. Mr. Clark, good evening.
Evening.
Big man, baby, I'm on radio.
Great song.
And thanks for joining us here on CTV Class Showbiz. Now, congratulations to you and Charterhouse as an entity. My Mr. said this year, now board sitting and that is saying, Nema so far.
As usual. Back and forth, different opinions, and then eventually you decide on the way forward, and then you put out the information on who deserves to be nominated.
Okay.
Yeah. So the journey has been on, from call to entry, submissions coming through, research being done, data compilation, classification, going through the entire process, and then eventually your final selection, and then share with the public.
Now, in terms of submissions, this year, Ekosro Kakra, did we have more people or more musicians submitting this year?
Oh, yes. I think that it's been rising since we introduced the internet portal.
Okay.
Yeah, because people don't have to physically come around. And year on year, you just keep getting more numbers.
Okay.
And year on year, you actually have more people joining the industry. Because you can imagine people who are leaving senior high school and believing they are the next black hole. So it's like that. And numbers keep increasing.
1, 2. Now, you say after the announcement on Saturday, news because when it comes to VGMA, you baby and I on some baby, but organizers said, a week. Obia or any dispute, obia or any misunderstanding, no no meka wasem. This year I'm going to introduce you and because then motivate Charterhouse in Tiamaka say this year there, let's start something that will give the people the opportunity to come back with their issues.
Well, the thing is, it's a human institution, and our entire operation is based on research. And the research, to a certain extent, deals with people sharing information. And sometimes the information may be inaccurate. Or somebody may omit something in their submission.
Okay.
And when they do that, then what it means is that we end up publishing that which you've been given. And even there are times that you want to even fact check, and then the information you come across is not accurate.
Okay.
So the baseline here is how do we ensure that we have accurate stuff and be able to put out there, because those are the parameters we use in working.
Okay.
So, in fact, one situation happened last year where somebody was not credited for a particular category where the person ought to have been credited.
Yeah.
And then eventually we had to, give the person the necessary credit by putting their name in the system.
I remember very well.
Exactly. So all of that, plus even best practices, we also discovered that elsewhere some of these things happen. So we were like, no, let's just do let's do what should be done to avoid any of these things, avoid any of these wahala, and at the end of the day, offer good services to the people of this country, and that is why we introduced it.
I see. So now, what are the processes? So, for instance, if I'm an artist manager, I'm an artist, and there is something that I want to address, what are the clear processes to follow?
Okay, so at this point, it's very simple. Email. If our official communication lines via the email or any of the numbers that speaks to Charterhouse directly. Okay. So once you call, you'll be able to speak to any of the teams responsible, and then once the information is had, then we can take it to the next level. But the best thing here is to send an email to info@GhanaMusicAwards.com, and that will come through so that every information that we are talking about is documented. And once it's documented, it's easier to be able to patch it through for it to be processed and work with.
Perfect. So Robert, I also want to know that the people who be complaining, those who be coming up with their issues, do they have to be people who are directly involved in the day-to-day activities or management of the artist, or it can be any other person who has issues with maybe a nomination or a category?
Well, I think the most appropriate thing should be the people involved. Yeah, because then it makes it easier.
Okay.
You can address, because then the entire process is going to keep long if we are going to work with hearsay and you are not the person in charge, and it could be some way. Okay. So we prefer working with people who are directly involved. It becomes way easier.
Now, earlier you also mentioned that you guys take information or feedback from people and you put it to good use. So imagine if there is an observer, a stakeholder, an industry person who thinks, okay, I can also put in a word or two on no process, no, on fan.
Okay, so you can still go ahead and send an email. Okay. I mean, once you share the information from the email portal, it becomes easier for us to be able to work with. So yes, I mean, there's nothing barring people from doing that. As a matter of fact, next year in the 25th edition, we are looking to even do more of these things, and so you will actually see more of these things come out. So people should share the information, and then we will indeed be able to capture it and then work with it.
I see. So as part of the dispute resolution, can it be that maybe someone comes in with an issue and someone who has been nominated needs to be picked out? Is that possible? Is that going to happen?
Okay, so at this point, at the carving of this particular provisional window, it wasn't heavy on that. It was actually more on corrections and omissions.
Okay.
But if this turns out to be a window that kind of supports that kind of movement, then I don't think that we'll be against it. If you understand what I'm saying, because everything comes into being because of a particular reason, and then if that same means now begins to serve multiple purposes, that's fine. You understand? Yeah, but that, again, it depends on the kind of response you get from the public. So then that gives you information as to what needs to be addressed and what doesn't need to be addressed. So that's really it.
Now, I know something is a norm when it comes to VGMAs, and after your nominees announcement, one or two musicians, managers, and industry people who will not be satisfied with that nomination. So far, with feedback you are getting as the communications head, are you very okay? Is it to the top or it is manageable?
Oh, we are okay. That's one. The most I've heard right now has to do with the fact that people are trying to contest why they are not in that particular space.
Okay.
And those things usually always happen, and sometimes there are people that I look at the information and the data we have, and I'm able to say, I know you're crying for this and crying for that, but from where I sit, what I have been able to see with respect to performance of songs in across multiple fields, for example, from streaming platforms, from on-air play, and then you also go to maybe the streets. And when I say the streets, I'm talking about maybe if you go to parties, if you go to funerals, if you go to a pub, that kind of environment, which is not necessarily we use the term streets to be able to cover all of these areas, just so that we know that these are places where music is consumed, but it is not, let's say, on a streaming platform. Okay. So when you put all of these things together, certain people are dominating in some area, but they are not very visible in other areas. Okay. So we have been able to sit on all of the data and looking at all of these things, and clearly we can see those who are excelling and not excelling. So when the board produces the list, we understand how they got there. Because some people were even surprised. In fact, there were arguments in certain places over and over again, and then you go and come back and then you realize that the data says otherwise, and people keep quiet. So I can understand that, because even in the boardroom, what happens is not one like everybody following suit. It's always back and forth arguments until eventually the results come out, and then you know exactly who needs to be in the place. So yeah, it's normal. It happens.
I see. Now, one category that I know has been getting some reviews online is the new artist of the year category. And so far, the complaint is that there is one lady there, and our Facebook account, you can share the new artist of the year category on the screen for me. Gospel artist Irabna, she was nominated in that same category, and so far, the information is that Irabna has been around. She's even gotten hit songs before in her career as a gospel artist. She's been with Nasi and Co. So nominating her as a new artist confuses some people. And I don't know what response you would give to us from the board.
Well, I'm happy when some of these things happen because it's an opportunity for some form of education.
Good.
The word new is relative. Right? That's the first thing that we need to understand. What may be new to somebody may not be new to somebody. But as a scheme, you need to be able to clearly understand how your operational definition for managing these things.
Okay.
Now, when you say somebody is on the way to becoming a music star, you realize that it takes some time. You may have started 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I don't know. Some have it good, some don't have it good. But when you start and you're saying that somebody has got a big song, well, the person was not big enough to be nominated in the VGMA. So the person has not been recognized by the institution, the VGMA scheme, no. So if the person now has a breakthrough song that establishes the person's identity and gets the person to become prominent within the space, then the person qualifies to be put in the best new artist category because the person is new to the scheme as well. You understand? Yeah, so it could have taken you 5 years, could have taken you 6 years, whatsoever, but we are now experiencing you. So you are new to us. You understand?
So
and
even
one of my favorite lines I always say.
Robert, even if the person had gotten maybe a big song before,
big song in what sense? Because then again, you are saying big song, but when we say big song, we must have had some nomination from us, right? So I don't know what you mean by big, because again, then the word here big is what? It's relative. You understand? So how do you say somebody had a big song? You must use certain things to say a song was big.
I was going to argue that. So, for instance, I know with VGMAs, you would have to submit your works or you'd have to apply before you would be nominated. So, for instance, at the time that she had a song, if she never applied, if she did not apply, in this case, what does it mean? Though the song was big, because you said, oh, if it was big, how come the VGMA is now recognizing her? That's what I'm asking. So, in case at that time, though the song was big, but she did not see the sense to submit her works, would you still consider her new?
So that is a conversation that at the end of the day we can have over again. But the reality is, even if you go and check the Grammys, you have 3 shots to be able to go into the artist, a new artist category.
Okay.
You understand? You can go 1, 2, 3, and there are years that clearly tell how long it will even take for you to be able to participate in this. In fact, in some cases, you have to release X number of songs or even X number of albums before you are in there. So all I'm saying is that it is not just getting up and saying that somebody is new or somebody is not new, because the word new is relative, and that is why you need operational definitions to be able to accommodate these things. And then going forward, when these operational definitions begin to warrant a need for revision, because there are peculiar cases coming up, suggestions can be made and those things will be amended. But as it stands, the reason why it's there is because the scheme recognizes her as new in the scheme.
Okay. Now, apart from the operational definitions that we've been reading from your website, are there other hidden meanings or definitions elsewhere that maybe you guys use only on the board?
I think that I have discovered that is also one of the areas that probably needs a little bit of attention. Because there are things that we use, it's not everything that is in the public space. And so the definition that you have there speaks to, I think when you look at a category definition that is publicly known, it speaks mainly to having decided, it speaks to who is determined as a winner.
Okay.
But it doesn't speak to the background operations that we use to be able to facilitate work in terms of running that particular category. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
So those are the things. So for example, if we are dealing with new artists of the year, the definition that is there, but there are things that we also look at. You understand? So when you are looking at all the other elements that support artistry, those things are there that we look at, but it's not necessarily captured in the description that you see there. So the back end, the operational elements we look at are still available, and those are the things we use in working. So I was even saying that maybe there's a need for us to make that particular information also available.
Okay.
So that to get to a point where people will just take the documents and then they understand how we operate everything through and through, and it becomes easier for people to appreciate what really comes out. So if that is going to be done, then really it's something that will probably be done for the 25th edition.
Okay.
Yeah, because for now, I mean, it's already gone.
Yeah.
And so if there's anything to be done, then it has to be in a subsequent one. So maybe that would be something to look forward to.
Can we use the same story for Irabna? For J-Bad as well, because of course the arguments are also on the street that J-Bad was also with the Talk Dems when they had their break, and now he has also been nominated alone as a new artist again.
There you go. So again, the principle is what is at work now.
Okay, the Irabna principle, I guess.
You can for the purposes of this conversation.
I get it. We have also seen that the voting pattern of the board and the academy, as well as the public, you guys have changed a little bit. And now,
a little bit. Yeah.
So what motivated this as well?
Let me put it this way: the scientific aspect of gathering intel has improved. So once it is improved, what it means is that wielding more power means that giving more accurate results.
Okay.
If you understand what I'm saying, yes. So given that there's a new wave, everybody is heavily into the stream space, the stream world, you'll be able to get some form of data from that particular space. Then the on-air play, we're having data that is coming in that basically gives us information about who is dominating within the various regions and across the nation as well. Okay. We have the researchers who are also bringing us information on who is performing well, and we have the committees who are also giving us information. So there are several data that we are receiving from across board. And all of these elements makes our decision a bit more precise and our intel very, very deep and sharper. So with the sharpness that is associated with this, there is a need, again, observing the general participation from the audience and all of that, and the need for us to be able to do that tweak. So that is the reason why the tweak has been done.
Okay.
But still, when you put it together, the board only has 40, and the rest of the 60 is not in the hands of the board.
Yeah. So
the majority is still out there.
So 30 for the academy and 30 for the public as well.
Yes. So majority still is out of the hands of the board.
Okay. Now, one final one before I leave you. I know there are also fans of DJ Azonto who are not so enthused that their hit song "Fan Form" was not nominated in the popular song of the year. With regards to some nominations like Stonebwoy's Therapy as well as Kiddies Bless. They think Azonto deserved a spot in the popular song of the year category with Fan Form because Fan Form has been very impactful. It has generated a lot of buzz on both online and on the streets, like he said earlier. I don't know how you would respond to this as well.
Well, I don't doubt that it has generated buzz, and that is the reason why somehow, some way, you find DJ Azonto being captured in our system, right?
Yeah.
Because then the question is, why is the person even there? It means that something must have brought the person there. The only thing is that, like we do, every particular category has got a number of songs. And when there's a number of songs, you can't select all. And there is data and evidence that informs who makes the top. So by the time you finish doing the cut, based on all the information that you have, it is those who deserve to be, or those who are able to make the cut, they remain in the system. And if they're the ones who remain in the system, then people are going to fall off. And once people fall off, then they will not appear in a list that's published.
Okay.
But the system has acknowledged that particular effort from somebody who is new to the game and has made tremendous contribution and growth. And that is why the system is able to acknowledge the artistry of that particular person and said, look, all said and done, you still deserve to be in the system because the impact has been felt. And that's the reason why I think it's in the new artist.
Yeah, he was nominated for new artist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why. Because sometimes, again, if your song falls in a category that has got heavy competition, even though it is doing so well, the competition is so tight, and then you just fall off when it comes to the cut. But it doesn't mean that you didn't do well. In fact, you may even your song may even be performing better than a song in a different category, except that because you belong to a category that is heavily competitive, you just couldn't make the cut.
I see. When and where are we doing nominations jam this year?
We'll be sharing that information in a bit. Let's enjoy the frenzy and all the excitement of what's happening right now. And then eventually, when the particular information is out, we'll bring it out.
I know, right? Kojo King is expecting a nomination next year. So he says, I should inform you.
Tell him they are here. I think I saw him, was it 2 days ago or 3 days ago? Yeah, and then, I was like, Charlie, we did the system there, the scheme there every day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cloud, for talking to us.
Yes,
we are grateful for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, so that was Mr. Robert Clark. He is the head of public events and communications at Chatterhouse, telling us why some changes, and of course, I know there are so many issues you have. So you bring them. Maybe if there are some more, we can let my producer get him to respond to some of them. Earlier, Tosca was on the floor. Eric, you to us now. See them the information be account, a bit more fire more.
So listening to him, I think VR week
Yeah, I love that VR week.
VR week, it is not for people who think they deserve a nomination and they didn't get in certain categories. Maybe someone thinks that I deserve to be in the rap artist of the year, and it is not for them. It is for anyone I am nominated. If your credit, your friends have production credits are called wrong hands so now whilst I'm telling production. Let's take a song like Shatali Ayu. When the song starts, it mentions Piesie G. So you might think say Piesie G produced the song, but there are showers. Wrong. And not Piesie G is some engineer. So you might think say Piesie G, and if you're not, then you nominate and then you put Piesie G in the producer of the year. So something like this, then you tell them, no, Piesie G is the engineer. I am the producer of the song. Okay. That is how I see this VR week to be. Yes. So that's the changes I think it will. So they nominate or award those who really deserve it.
Okay.
And then near me who negative I who say the publication that has gone out. Because when the nominations comes out, these websites publish them. They don't wait a second.
So even the correction?
A call. Because correction, they won't go and
edit their
lot of them won't go.
This a point.
And this appears on the top website too. My Joy, it is VGMA, they will all publish. And if it's a mistake, let's say they mention my name as a producer. Me ko Eric Tosca or Google na me bo newser. Wo se ni na beba. So a mistake.
I get this point. I get this point.
I capture our system.
Abane the aba.
Aba online, you can't delete it. Delete it. Obi beja. Obi beja. Yeah. So that is what I think. The right and then the wrong.
Yes. Okay, I'll come back here. Befa other categories, maybe more issues in be more no. Now more there are two jobs. But for now, let's look at this window of opportunity. There are for dispute resolution. Kojo, I tell also. Robert Achechemu, the interim of BSI there no, but Babiatino, the Papa Womu, the Poboni Woman, who
Yeah. To me, it's a good thing. Definitely, I'm for feedback and a reaction to the course of previous editions. It's a campaign so I bit to me. I resolve some of these issues. I can't be saying a bit to me, especially when it comes to nominations and even people's participation and interest in award schemes. The first tag here say transparency and credibility. I'm for say these days award schemes and yet credible enough. Into amount for crowd withdraw interest. Into Kwambeni bit me I restore the confidence and the trust in the scheme, which has been there for a lot of years. And I think this is one of the ways I bit me. Into Abba out here, and you may be office say enko challenges be to say questions are obusa no maybe we can put them up there. Now you say omutie and some day definitely the next edition they can feed on this information no more better. Yeah. And as some be reduce the margin of errors. And definitely, as he rightly said, a human institution. And most of these research they contract private entities. Yeah. Exactly. And say you be based on the trust you have in them, information be on the ban. You have to also accept it. And as they also go out there doing their job, gathering information, definitely there will be some lapses in there. It is a now you set that margin of errors, okay. Now you're the above, but Mufi say baby problem be more. Some of the bad things say is the right thing to do. Okay. You read this story now. No more can be say it can lead to omission or inclusion. I don't know why.
It can be sad, because ABI it could be an exaggerated paragraph. It's not said that bizarre. They say a command is ubi aye complain be tienyo be from Bayana or say
because it was cut.
But the story captured.
Yeah, the story captured.
That's what I'm saying. It could be an exaggerated paragraph.
Then why did they
first interview
in the first place?
Maybe first week interview not kind about or call office the guy in the next hour.
They should have. The minimum thing. A first interview because the only
was on his FM.
Oh, but yes, announcement no nominee announcement nothing. I don't know. Yes, yes announcement. I don't know. Maybe my producer, if you have that side of the video from last. Saturday.
So meaning, are we to say?
Because the story captured that.
Yes.
But the submission is here,
So yes, are you to say maybe the story was wrong? Maybe captured
that's
something
maybe
or misunderstood, misconstrued their statement
I
or what?
It's over exaggeration because last year the example that he cited with the Apietus and Wuta Efie saga, they had to go back because yes, Wuta Efie was being put in the audio engineer of the year, whereby it was supposed to be Apietus. And even in that sense, they had to include Apietus in that category.
So they did not remove.
Exactly. So if your point, I believe that if your point is as good as even removing somebody, because probably the person, maybe Posiji was the audio engineer and Showers was the producer, the substantive producer. If you come and say with fact and evidence, science and data, say, okay, I am the audio engineer of this particular record, and this person is the producer, definitely they would have to switch. And even if it means taking the person off because the person probably, or maybe artist never file on behalf of that particular producer, the producer would have to be taken off. if somebody can be included, then definitely, if your argument is as strong as that, somebody can be taken off because probably information is one of one, and you're right. And again, somebody can also provide your friends say information that you've been nominating after doing extensive research, realize that yes, you presented this song as Ebia Memenyom, produced by Kojokin, by Eko Muno, and Kojokin, and your retorts can produce here. And that person can say, Ebi Mpana, Wabetro Mimi din 7 and produce you. I can also come out and say, and Yemen produce here. Credit the rightful owner. And that is what I believe they are talking about.
Well, could you continue?
Yeah, so I think they should lay emphasis on that side because if information has been twisted or and people who are now bringing the other new information is having concrete evidence, then definitely it must lead to either an inclusion or a remover of somebody who does not deserve it.
Okay.
So they should be emphatic. And other than that, then it is just an ordinary gathering of information.
Okay.
Not disputes resolution.
Okay. Okay, into by any dispute resolution amount.
Of course, if after presenting my case. That is errors. These are errors. Let's say
so they will correct it.
My name and minor errors and all of that.
It is not minor.
Nominating
someone who doesn't deserve it.
It is not minor. Okay, before I'm about now,
I think it is like technical aspects, no. And on the
there's your camera sometimes, yeah.
Technical aspects, no, and on the corrections, no.
Okay.
Because the examples you are giving is like technical sides, no. It will be if I the songwriter of the year, Mema to no munim so be a trauma, no more trauma to me being asho. None depend on trauma and affect. Say aquabatro Becca Numbi, no affair, quite it is a technical side.
Yeah.
Producer can use the technical side. Most of these things, I think it will affect the technical side, no? Than the other ones now. I deserve to be nominated,
and this one doesn't deserve. No. To say the person me will be free. Okay,
so I think there should be emphasis on that. If somebody rightfully deserves to be nominated, and because of information twist or something, I think the person should be included. Then it makes it more concrete and solid.
Okay.
But other than that, they should have omitted that line. You are giving us what you want to do. So you could have done with the fact that it could lead to inclusion or omission.
Okay.
So it shouldn't have been added that line.
Okay.
If it was about we are doing corrections of maybe wrong naming and wrong crediting of sources and all of that, that would have been clear. But then, if it is for dispute, I can come in with data that, hey, based on your criteria or your category definition and all the factors, this song released under this year passes or tick all the lines. So I deserve to be in a certain category.
Okay.
And if I prove my facts, yes, you have to do justice to me. You can't tell me it has already been done. If you are not removing anybody, you can add me. Yeah.
No, but category be answer on the cut-off point. In fact, there are some categories. Oh yeah, then and if 8 per and nominate you.
Previous years, we have seen some of them. They add up, and some too they reduce.
Unless special cases, this one I'll come inside for them.
Yeah.
Because I work with.
Yeah.
Unless special cases. Like in the year Kwesiata and any can promise me blue, you know. There were a lot of new artists. So if the category takes 6 artists, that's a nipa be 8 the blue. I would be able to say 8 will black. You have no other option than to nominate
them.
I get it. Could you wrap it up now, Roland?
Yeah. So aside everything is good, at least for the fact that they can gather more information and better the subsequent ones. We will have to commend them for that.
Okay, Ro, come through. After Roland, I'm reading some of your messages, so you can keep them coming. Yes.
Basabe, congratulations to VGMA. I think 24 years there. Oh my idea was say about Mambaso. For the 1 week dispute resolution idea, I think the name fits it. It is for dispute resolution. Yes, because for you to come and give my credit to another person there. And there's a precedent to it, which is why probably people would want to give it that name. Okay. Because last year, appeared to Snewood a free year and it wasn't something small. It was something that was even in the media space a huge conversation that's really dented the image of the brand, or that is the VGMA brand. So if something like this should happen again, it will be a very big blow to them. So even window or movie 1 week, is good, but maybe when they say okay, 1 week wouldn't be enough, especially if some of these things pop up. But I know say yes, this is just the first step for some of these things. This is just the first step. So because they can't definitely open it wide and say be in 1 month or 2 weeks. They would have to do it, start it small, so that out of ABA next year, almost calculations, no be 1 week, we were able to get about 5,000 feedbacks or 3,000 entries. Then we can say, okay, we're overwhelmed with the feedback that we got. So definitely moving forward, maybe the 25th edition, we have to do it maybe 2 weeks or 1 month. And that is what will help them. I believe this particular thing is just feedback to better the scheme. Because yes, they still want to prove to people that yes, they are a listening entity and they are doing it for the they are doing it for the people. So it is also to restore confidence, because we know the kind of conversation and interest that people have lost in various award schemes, not only with VGMA alone. Like the general conversation about award schemes with recently people returning their plaques and all that gives a certain image to your friend is saying that these particular award schemes. So if they come and tell you, oh, because we are doing this with you, and we know we open for you, we are still giving you the benefit of the doubt. Say if there are some things that you even want to change, even if you announce nomination, because we are still doing it with you, and we want you to be confident in us. We are still giving you that benefit of the doubt for you to come and correct. It is just to, and also gather right information. Okay. You know, getting information in our space is very difficult. When you ask Eric Tosca and his people, they will tell you, gathering information in this country, rough. Gathering data, people don't do it. So it is just to encourage people to put out the right data and information. Okay. People write songs for other people, and they don't even insist on them crediting, because probably they don't know the intellectual rights they own even on that project. They feel say Nipa no watch on now, but meanwhile that particular credit should be done. That particular credit should be done, and sometimes we as a country we take it for granted. Or as a people, sometimes some of these petty things we take it for granted. So at the end of the day, our musician can just upload songs online, artist name no actually needing. Producer, no actually needing, songwriter, no actually needing. And so meanwhile, even the people who even did the audio engineering, or even if I say production, they can be both flute or both guitar. These are separate musicians that needs to be credited accordingly. And so then the person would send the information. At the end of the day, if the scheme comes to give some of this information out there, then it will look as if says scheme no na one year the research here. Okay. But meanwhile, it is the source na ye nipana on one fact the right information So it is good. At least year in year out, the scheme has proven say any and every year, regardless of even the number of years of our system, they are still opening it up for people to still have confidence, so that the people can see say they are being complacent. Say after 20 years there, we are still doing it. We I said John the Melo slogan, I did for you. Or I still did for you. So it is just to do that. And for my last one will be the voting pattern. Okay. Voting pattern 40 for board, 30 for academy, and 30 for public. Yes, it shows that now they are gradually moving tag of being a popularity-based awards kind of thing. Because if they give the majority of your friends then yes, you can argue, say academy and the public are taking 30-30 and the board is taking 40. It means that now they are building such strong board, not to say the board has strong data now to argue their case. Unlike first, Rebecca, so in Crawford, so they decide. No? They've seen the loopholes that comes with it, so now they want to give the majority of the destiny to the power to the board, which is very, very good. But so far, I think per my checks, we have about 77 people who were nominated, including foreigners. 77 musicians who were nominated in this year's scheme. So it is beautiful.
Okay. Now I also observed something. And mihu Kojo King ewo nominations released na se mihu Roland wo Tosca de Manhuno. Yeah. Tosca de Manhuno. Tosca could not make it there. Now I realized that this year nominations Manhu artist bebre wo. Metimi aka artist a mihu wo mo ye hu episode. Piesie Esther. And a hwan bim.
Sinaso, that is the performance.
Sinaso.
I saw Lyrical Joe.
Yes, Lyrical Joe
was there.
Yantimi amomu nyina akra. Omu nru 10 crowns a dozen.
I end on sang.
That yeah, we inform artist.
Established.
No.
Okay, established.
No, I'm making a case. You have a nominees release. It is for musicians. And meaning say those times you have a nominations release. Oma invite you me. Oma you say oh when your nomination. Momo invite. I have been following the scheme. That's how they do it. It's anytime I brought nomination invitation biano. They will say oh nyame ya adoma. You understand? But this time we did not see much. Well, let's take you there. Maybe you missed the action on TV. Let's take you to the Grand Arena. My producer, Facebook Jata, was there and he captured some of the performances. Yes, you enough a bar. Ada and Sema, a war hono, ye baby muna, ye new commerces here. Let's go for this. I'll be back. were the performers on the day of the nominees announcement at the Grand Arena. Earlier, Celestine Donko and a day show no by himself Satana producer and oh yeah, the late Jata until drew a lyrical Joe and Sina So as well as a episode, and they gave some fantastic performances on the night. Into one team young could be a the walk share class show be entertainment will be on could be a no problem. Now, my member fee nafi yenye the general reviews. Babia Obia war and then some 1212 be na Eric Tosca so betcha the intia. Jata make us share Stubborn Academy video nya. Okay. All right, almost Sanyan can yet, but yeah, say almost Sabeka. Kings One TV, Kings One GA TV, and Kings One. I've been watching your YouTube channel. Keep on firing. Now he was saying, "Say a announcement, you know, it drew Stubborn Academy. Stubborn Academy originally, the song features Shatawale, and Shatawale is a scheme, you know, ma yemfanin kaho." And I say, "Oh no, this scheme no issues. For now, no training a free mo." Meanwhile, medical no Shatta was to be. It's nominated, according to King 1 GH no. Tama ye bobo dino, ya more a year Shatawale din. And I'm asking, na still and no also still you are nominating into no. Sankomo we can say. Tosca. Also want to change mind.
Yes, I think okay, so with our scheme, every time when they implement something or they will be back. Because music keep changing and living and yasini as society piano, they kind of change with it. So in 2020, Oman nominated Steve Wonder. It was
when the Shades featuring
Shatawale, Steve Wonder. They said they had banned Stonebwoy and Shatawale from the scheme. Until Stonebwoy and Shatawale, these two artists, and Yumbia they are a feature of
they did not nominate them.
So that was the reason. And then time, to say they, and then after us, when they banned, Shatawale came out to say, don't add me to your hours again. Or try and Sabio say,
yes,
yes, I do Moja to say, and famine count hours now. So they fled and say, okay, now we've banned them. Banned no. I say I left. Osha, I saw my left to be sad because Stonebwoy is back in it.
Yeah, I'm left.
Yeah, I'm left. More family left. Yes. Yeah, he left to ban. And I should tell you very easy. More family left. Okay, yes. Okay, we are the
guys are you.
And I should tell you very easy. More family left. On pet. Still are on pet on count. So this is what they've done. We can't deny Nkofobi deserving nomination, which is the primary artist of the song. The owner of the song, the primary artist now is a medical. Shatawale is a secondary, honorary featured artist. We can't deny nomination because of we Obi also on person can award no. Ya lift band no. To say no, they can nominate songs that Dipane feature also. But this is the case now. Dipane say and family didn't count. So me man nominating me boarding. But me nominated said it belongs to we.
But he's on the song.
Yes, but
one money deal. In fact, earlier, Roland thought say there was an original Stubborn Academy song and Sana your air remix. But it is not even like that. The song directly comes with Shatawale as a featured artist.
Baby Anka, a very hard a drink with the featured artist air collaboration. Senko collaboration of the year. Honor, you say it goes for the two artists, but this one goes for the primary artist. But there's the double nipana, secondary artist now you feature the thing for the for specific basis.
Credit.
Yes, credit basis into near about. But when you say nipana say and family didn't count, and you can't deny somebody's deserving nomination. So you have to nominate the person.
I see. Okay, but apart from that, is there any category? Are there any issues at Tosca? One kasa one with the skin this year.
Oh, me there. I've said it. I wrote it on my Facebook page.
Okay.
The only category I find it where the best African artist. No.
Okay.
They nominated Libyanka.
Okay.
She doesn't deserve it.
Sir, she doesn't. She's not in the calendar period or what?
Yeah. So Libyanka has one hit song. It was released on 6th December 2022, and people in
so in terms of the calendar, they qualify.
If there was a song category, the song would have qualified. But
if there was what
a song category like best African song. The artist the category is artist based.
Okay.
It is artist based. It talks about the artist works and artists crossing borders into other countries. And Libyanka in 2022 was unknown. The whole of 2022.
Now her song is one of the biggest.
It's last month, yeah. Which is 2023.
But the song came out in.
And the artist is not song. The category is not song. It is artist.
Well, once again, Robert Clark has said sometimes the definition out any other details on the Jumano on the board. But say there is a difference.
Yes, boss.
So I'm coming on. It is there as an artist, but because they might not be able to trace the activities of whichever or whoever artist or category, they will just look at your song and not necessarily your impact. Unlike other categories, all Ghana. I bet okay. Here he did not even have a big song, but his impact in terms of activities, events here and there, cost from more.
Yes, and what you are saying, it is what is in the category definition. The impact, artists crossing way. See.
So in this case, the artist songs and not the artist as a personality.
The artist as a personality. Read it.
Okay, may read it.
Read it.
No, Bakos Nakasa.
Yes, and if you check, Libyanka as an artist in 2022, literally on one year, and you only know release here, and the pushing of the song, it came up this year.
Okay.
And you only blow this year. Everything about Libyanka, every success Libyanka has enjoyed happened this year, 2023. Libyanka as an artist happened in 2023.
So that is the only category.
That's the only category. I mean, I find it way.
How about the popular song of the year, Yanfa Zonto Amamuno over Kidney Stonebwoy?
Okay, so this and also so.
Okay, so let me no, not international collaboration. Best African artist.
Yeah.
It says the best African artist is the artist non-Ghanaian are judged solely by the board as the act whose music crossed borders. Whose music crossed borders and made the most impact on the continent at large during the year under review. Whose music? They are paying attention to the music.
Whose music under the year of review. The year of review for this award starts from January 1st to 31st December. And within that period, Libyanka knew Anyashe.
No.
Anyashe, within that year.
No. I must say, from January 1st January to December 31st.
Yes.
So what it means is that releasing you 30th December, not to them. If you make impact, you qualify.
Relax. That is for song nomination. That's for song nomination. Say your song nomination. First off, it has to be released within this calendar year.
Exactly.
Yes.
And she qualified.
Yes. For song nomination. Listen, she qualified for song nomination. And then it goes further to say whose music has crossed borders within that calendar year. And within that calendar year, Ninyum and cross the border.
The cross border time.
In 2023. And cross the border within that calendar year.
But I see what you are saying. It has been happening with even our own people here.
Yes, it happened
with me releasing Nyom in 2022. Maybe I Nyom no come to cry last year cry Nyom nibi. Sana break here. The year now release year like some and shut down far until the next year and Sana F Papa. If he's such a person, are you saying he doesn't qualify?
I'll say if we know remix be bigger than it.
Yes.
It is original Krakoda. Original Krakoda. Yeah.
Well, no, I get your point. Just that it happens with our scheme.
Yes.
The almost share time I release,
Yes. But with the definition of mine, I can't say you cross it.
In the year
and that we are anyway.
And are they looking at Holy Ghana?
Well, I'm also cross the board, and yes, so that's what I'm telling you. I followed Libyanka. I followed
everywhere.
Oh, brother.
Like in the other part of Africa.
Brother, and you started picking a song Libyanka. They started picking after your open vessel now. And it was one artist, Buju Benson now. Or any verse. Or verse now. As I say, and I crazy. And all of this thing happened last year. I've watched your interviews. This last month, I'm talking about last month. I've watched her interviews. She now testified.
She was working.
She now testified.
Okay. So, what do you think about Fanny Form not getting nomination in the Popular Song of the Year category?
Okay, so Fanny Form, yes, this is the kind of mistake yeah, Fanny Form is popular. It's very popular. Even before the song was released. This is why. Fanny Form, there was a sound bite we called viral. They say, then. It went viral. Fanny Form. It was on Snapchat. People put it on it was a sound bite.
TikTok and things.
It was just Fanny Form. Allah, where you then ends there. So it was on top of people's head. That way, it's on top of people's head. We release it, kind of kill us our vibe, Sad sound bites anyway, killing one time. And he was going around doing interviews and it just killed it. Because me, if you be ever kind of crazy now, after releasing the song, encore to say sound bites.
Oh yes, sure.
Seriously.
Oh.
Fan of film.
Parties, if I wedding as a crowd, yes,
vibe do me.
So are you saying even if the vibe died, are you saying Stonebwoy therapy in terms of popularity, streetwise and things as the chance manifold?
Street no. Fanform so since therapy.
So why the popularity contest?
When Catcher said they use streaming numbers. What that's I mean. I think you when you sit on a board, and I research now we are we know for classify why a song should be nominated. They give reasons, and when you talk about we can't say it is popular, yes, or here. Sometimes they want to see the reflection on social, because now it is like we live our life on social media also, or streaming numbers, or the online media. The reflection now, it kind of makes your argument way some way.
But as a music researcher, as a board member for some awards, do you think it's a fair argument? If I say, you're first Stonebwoy, who is obviously on a record label, which is massive when it comes to finances, okay, they can have so many means to make sure they get the numbers online.
It is not his fault, and it is not a crime to do that.
No. I'm not saying that. It's your fun to say we are using this as a case study. It was on my year, I'm a numbers number. For you know, crowd, be able to back end in because numbers na crowd, a higher percentage in every free Ghana.
Oh yes, therapy, Spotify numbers now.
Exactly. So you see, what do you mean everything now? So Ghana, we are talking about in Ghana, which songs were popular in the year under review. And he said, Obana Obefa, and so okay, the numbers are there, the numbers are big, but the numbers Ubekono and Ghana numbers nimpo free. It's how does it beat the original Ghana? Yeah, didn't you know?
On a number, Ghana can't but. Because of Stonebwoy's weight.
I said the numbers, the
Ghana can crowd.
No, I agree.
Yes, the Ghana can.
No, I agree. This is Stonebwoy we are talking about.
Yes.
Stonebwoy is here. What's his name? Azonto is here. DJ Azonto. It's a but we are talking about impact. In the year under review, funny form.
That's why there should be a viral, something for viral.
Well, could you come through and defense the Beba? Ramos said you were the Ramos on Bebois. Yeah. Got the other issues you also want to point out now? Some of us
everyone so a easy issue with people who are noted for some genres. Another year of review, no, almost excel with other genres. But their main genres, no, they were still nominated. The same fancy will be a dancehall artist.
But am I critical examples?
Yes, Obi Rezi say be a episode. Osha, then you want a GD another year of review, yeah, Atia.
Okay.
But still, yes, I nominated as dancehall artist.
Okay.
Maybe was Obi so have worth we say. I didn't have a say, high life category.
High life, the next song.
Exactly, high life song.
Yeah.
Obi so worth for no, but if challenges no Obi is about a genre. If I'm a dancehall artist,
I don't know if you want to listen to
it.
Okay, so episode is a dancehall artist. And dancehall, high life song. And a high life song that did well. So they've nominated the song. In the high life category. Of course. But as the dancehall artist, he was still doing dancehall things, performing on stage, doing performances for dancehall songs. It's about me and nominating as an artist because of a Juma or as a dancehall artist. And not necessarily a song, but but a high life, the back of show. That is how the explanation is in that situation.
So some people also don't understand how some of
I get them.
Some of these things work because at the end of the day, it is Obi Timmy now a he deserves to be nominated in that category. But Obi Sobeka say, Ebia.
It's not common expecting as nominated the high life artist.
No. Omo party say Ebia on one 40, one a Juma or no and more.
As a dancehall artist.
To them, but still because Ebia or dancehall artist definitely obey automatic nomination. They be on the better, but I think maybe they told the other competitors maybe they didn't do enough. With DJ as on to the popular song. I always say other information now. Robert can say it is not known to the public in Kebab and because now this argument of streaming numbers and all of that is it a point say more waiting and answer maybe with all the pointers some carries more marks than the other. It may be a back streaming a be real to more than a be a hot impact now and you may occupy on the streets and airplane and all of that. So about this idea there we know it's okay. We place much premium on the streaming numbers than on the streets, which we call the analog streams. If that is out there, then we'll be okay. But say, and you'll be a popular. We all know, say.
Because see, when you read their definitions, it talks about impact,
of course,
excitement, and those and Sanibano. Many just excitement. Nobody online be who's excitement.
So say we know
online TikTok.
No, but excitement no online no ebeba the nipa na dey activities.
Only the casa no say.
And it's funny for me and TikTok there and can also now pound.
Because
a hop on the BNC who or
say category definition we no. And what makes you win? Like Nema win, but the Maya nominate you no. And no certain information be or is not privy to the public.
The system.
Ain't you know, as I said, almost so what when you say was so the verbal so the bad things all these conversations, you know, to be because I know you're popular. What must say? I know you're popular. We all know songs that are popular. Yeah. So say premium no ever streaming numbers.
So could you on the screen now is the definition of the most popular song of the year, which says that the Vodafone most popular song of the year is the song adjudged by the Academy, Board, and general public as the most popular song released in the year under review. The song must have enjoyed a lot of patronage and generated the most excitement.
The last time, and when they have for nomination. The first one here, Lady Winnie. The last one here for nomination. If
yeah,
you
I get it.
right,
I get
the
it.
last one here for the
That's what I'm saying. So if you are talking about the song that generated the most excitement in the end review, then we cannot ignore.
But Sammy, like I want to go brief for them.
Okay.
Once all in all Kasam, can say the song, the category has an numerical base, so which is 10 for the popular song of the year. I kind of think say maybe they had 12 or 13 songs, and then they had to vote. The board had to vote.
I know that thing. Right?
Yes, the board had to vote to decide on which song deserves the nomination, and then the board, if they are not,
you know.
The board, you know, current.
No, yes, this is our conversation. Because in that category, I have a most popular song. In that category, there are two songs that I think they were not popular.
Stonebwoy and Kiddy.
Stonebwoy and Kiddy song.
They
were not popular, like,
yes.
in all honesty. This is it. So this is it. Camido's song, very popular. Sugarcane remix. Sarkodie. Countryside. Black Sheriff. And then Kokude Traveler. Last Mate. Friday Night. Kelvin Boy. Down Flat. Jackie. Something. Wendy Shea. Survivor. Kiddy.
Blessed.
It wasn't popular. This song, it did not go. This song did not go. Once again. Stonebwoy Therapy. Good song, but it did not go.
It was popular.
I like the way you lied to me.
Good song, but it did not go.
Honestly. Popular.
Piesie Esther. Very popular.
YBA.
You understand? So, almost the same numbers, with the NA. See, and I did releasing my man how. For second men go interview the first can numbers.
Men for numbers, just promote it online.
And that's what I mean. And then I make any promotion.
To numbers are the streaming farm.
That's what I mean.
People might mistake it for that.
Well, I think you have a point. And say number any day and patch you releasing you man. And how go interview because and I permit to say Bulldogs say I read his as soon to see the interviews or call does change the streams.
Wow, no, you don't come.
You see,
yeah, but
Bulldogs are zone to the interviews does change the streams.
Premium. Premium work. And my interest back also was songwriter.
I know
the next year,
no. What is your interest in?
I think this time Kofi Kinata. One and for the last. For the past, remarkable because for the past 3 or 4 weeks, what judges are to miss. In this year, no.
But I'm there 5 streets.
Yes, it is well noted.
4 years in a row.
It can't go unnoticed to miss it.
Yeah.
It means other people so almost pain more. Almost challenge because at a point it was like so all the time we won't done to have other people also coming in. But next year they should watch out.
So it means you are satisfied with the people who were nominated?
Oh, of course.
Okay, so these are the songwriter nominees. Piesie, Esther, YMEA, Black Sheriff, Paradise. Oh yeah, that song. Paris Music.
Yeah.
Famille, Thank You. Diana Hamilton. But I mean who Diana Hamilton?
My Meditation.
My Meditation. Erabna.
This far.
Erabna di. Watch you.
But
maybe I know the voice, but
yes, you know the voice, you know the song.
Meet mama born in you me be a chance.
No, yes.
I do bang.
Free. But this far,
I say bless. Bless I nominated on the Kujoki or Cat.
Aye. Say what's Sunday. This song, this far is a good song.
It's a good song.
It's a very well written song. So that one there, no doubt.
And there's a well written song also. Oh Paradise.
Oh Paradise, yeah. And Hewalala. So far, the might be able to. Kenata film, no, I think so. All my ad. Next time,
the second film,
stronger.
Familiar and Asamba Bill.
Familiar and Asamba Bill.
Last year for the second time.
Last one
this
with
year,
praise,
this
right?
Year, he stands challenge from Piesie,
of course.
My meditation, you know him say mention the name.
No, but that Hiwalala Perez music is also strong.
Competition one top 3 no. Omno me deal no.
Yes.
Top 3 no. Omno me.
Piesie, Esther, Black Sheriff, and Perez.
Hiwalala any joke.
It's top.
Wait to me aje.
How much be our status? I was that.
Man for the
oh, that song.
Okay, so Koskoli just supplied this information to me. I say Kinata didn't win 4 in a row. He won 2 in 2s.
2 in 2.
Yeah, I say he won 2, and King Promise broke through, and Obasan we need 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Nomination.
So he went 6. They kind of went 6. No.
Nominations.
So nominations.
One year nomination.
So Kenata. So your nomination in the year we.
I think he did 4 nominations straight. Consecutive. No, nominations.
No, nominations. He's not contesting nominations. We are talking about the win.
No, that's what we were also talking about.
Yeah. Okay, Roland Brian, nothing the part do answer back.
Sammy, with all the conversation and the explanation that Robert Clark came to give, I think that there are some pointers that people should take note of. That is, now it is clear that there is a selection criteria and a winning criteria.
Yes.
Now that is one thing that, and I am not sure Robert Clark said that because he's saying they are going to bring out the selection criteria now. That is not the conversation. I'm sure this is also part of another observation on Mwate, even right after releasing nominations, no? Because they know, say yes, people are now looking for DN Mamufa Asume Senior Bentin. Because you know, last year there was another conversation about Artist of the Year category, where they said the person should have a certain number or more numbers in the scheme.
But I'm sure Artist of the Year, Mammy Roland Kasari Penamofanto screen it. You see, Artist of the Year,
where they said people should get the people in the Artist of the Year category should get more nominations. Ama ebeye competition between Familiar and Can Promise as to when they, I think someone nominee said 5 or 6 nomination, but Familiar lost out in the Artist of the Year category. No? So yes, it is out of some of these things that maybe he made that statement, say the selection criteria is different from the winning criteria. Because when you check the category definition on the website, it clearly states how you can win. Because the moment it brings the board, the academy, and the general public, then you know that this is a competition out there on the level of one thing, after the equal competition. But in the selection criteria, there's nothing like the public there. Yeah. It is just the board and the research team. Even the academy do not come inside when they are selecting people for categories. It is just the board and the research team. So yes, I am sure, say, I don't know how that conversation is going to come out. Okay. Or how they are going to stipulate the criteria. No? We'll say it is more or less going to be like a marking scheme, sort of. They said the rating, or control exams, the likes of BEC, NIRAS, WASI, other examinations, no? How they used to rate it. ABA section A was 10 points, section B was 20 points. If that is how they are going to do it, then I don't know how it is going to be for them in the near future. Okay. Would that give them that conversation of how transparent they would be as an entity or as an award scheme? And people should also know that there are rules of engagement in every scheme. The rules of engagement in the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards is different from 3 Music. Okay. It's even different from Ghana Music Awards UK. Okay. Which is why in Ghana Music Awards Europe, you can find Kojokin among other musicians in that particular scheme, ever unsung. Okay. But in other schemes, because of their rules and mode or selection criteria, you don't meet it. Okay. Because time Nana, even when we started this conversation at Kojoya, he was supposed to be nominated in the unsung category. We say amount for yes, I also felt the same way because I have followed the VGMA and some of their selection criteria, even a category definition. You can clearly see, say, sometimes they focus on the kind of works you've put in that particular field and not based on maybe even a single record. Sometimes, even if you have a single record, you might lose out. It happened to Patapa, even against Fancy Gadam, when it became a contention of your friends, almost most popular song. Okay. You realize that the guy only had one particular your friend say record, but Fancy Gadam had different records even on in that particular year under review. Okay. And some of these things can go against you. My last one will be the way of more quality your friend is saying. That is nominations, data for nomination. That is now he has what they call the streets and the streaming, and now data that is on air and research. On air and research. So I am just asking myself, so okay, these are intangibles. How do you quantify them? Especially when they say impact, generating excitement. When you use words like that, how do you quantify some of these things? In the say, because okay, it's a impact and not excitement. Is it about the kind of performances the person had in the year under review? Because there are some people like the Azonto example that we gave like this. Charlie, you go on every party. It was banging. So is that another way they use to quantify the excitement that it generates? Exactly. If Ninina Kahua, then it will be very useful in their selection criteria when they bring it out, maybe in the 25th edition. And J-Bad conversation is what I raise and say. J-Bad, I think it is out of
new artist.
New artist. J-Bad was new artist of the year category. Thank you. And
are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with
me,
that.
I'm okay because of previous.
J-Bad emerged with your talk then.
Oh yes,
but,
to the extent that
he emerged in that year, but that year he wasn't nominated, and it was your talk that was
and
your talk was talking.
No, he was even supposed to be nominated, but out of
not the only PN and only new one. I don't know the only new.
So this is what I am seeing. When your talk, who say
Rabna has been nominated.
Your talk really is sorry. J-Bad and the other guys were on it. Now, in that same year, J-Bad released Condemn. On them when we pull up on them.
Yes.
Okay. And they were supposed to be nominated. And Omu released a statement. Said they didn't. First, part of the statement was they were not satisfied with some of the nominations or categories they were putting.
So it was for 3 Music.
At the time.
Yes, it was at the time. And then they generalized this for every scheme.
Exactly. Yeah. So they were not convinced. Like they were not satisfied with some of the categories they were putting. That was one. And 2, they don't want to be part of any award scheme. They were very specific. So anybody who would attempt to nominate them, you do it at your own risk. You can be sued because we're catch now. It is in the public domain. Okay. So you do that at your own risk. So for him to come now and say he wants to be part of the scheme, definitely the scheme has its rules of engagement. Like he said, be new, and I will check a category definition. There's a word called relatively. So being new is relative, and that is the only brofo they will use to beat you. The only brofo they may beat you relatively, because what is new to me may not be new to you. It's the annual kind of Irabna. Your friend is say example. With my last one will be Shatawalini Medical, the one that they mentioned medical and left Shatawale out. I think it is also in line. The same.
Do you know somebody's also giving Kofi Kinata 4 times in a row? The songwriter. Maybe
I think we will have to. We will do another conversation, and maybe we have to do part 2 near share artist of the year.
Yeah, records like VGMA.
A Tosca person can be. Now I also have to activate my phone lines. If you just for artist of the year, it's one Mummy Muname say Oma Omo share no why na Omo Gidi say this year artist of the year the Fatam, and when I'm in ABA phone lines and say. This year, Vodafone Ghana Music Awards nominations appear. Na artist of the year no artist Makumako 8 and more. In Teofra no be actually me say apart from Zebia one Sembikano, I want to also know because public is so count, general public so count more percentage.
Gerard has supplied a certain information, so he says, therapy not popular. Hey, you the joke. Therapy is bigger than Faniform. If a song is validated by the streets as you all claim, then it should reflect on the digital streams. Faniform is even yet not on Spotify.
I can say streams need more move on for her. A holiday in say a honor on to we are talking about the excitement the song generated. And the excitement the song generated, no, it is at the pubs, it's at the parties. When?
Wedding reception.
Yeah, like those are the places we are talking about. But say, this is Stonebwoy, this is DJ Azoto. How come that there is no competition there?
It was so about the. I like the way you lied to me.
Okay, Mami call like this, yeah.
With the J-Bad way, no. Yes. Your kind, what's it? Oh, now I can say it was part of the Yaltol way.
Yeah.
That time, no, I'm really saying no man. And you know, release a J-Bad no own song by J-Bad. Time was I to release it was time and now I say, no one can I was now.
Okay.
So now, no, when you're singles, I hear individual artists.
Okay.
It's, you know, and then a man is strong case to be nominated. First, now nominating, you won't get a song for J-Bad.
Maybe unless collaboration or something.
Okay.
But they say no or condemn no kind or anajo.
But condemn is not in the. It's not.
And he has dumb.
Yeah, dumb.
Which falls in the year that review?
No, that's but or anajo falls.
And no man can't even follow.
It is a we block rather still a new.
They say no.
No, a rap now. I'm seeing you. Let's go on to the bring the flyer again. Bring the card. Bring the artist of the year card again, and let me see. Now maybe someone so until we now show we
are satisfied.
So Black Sheriff, Stonebwoy, Sarkodie, King Promise, Camido, Kiddy. Piesie, Esther, and Geometry. Last year, I win here zone. Kiddy. Last year, Kiddy, and I win here. And you know, this year, no, ever say